up, everyone? It's your girl, Fantastic Frankie, here for a very special collaborative episode with the Blerd Empire.
What up? What up? Yeah. So I'm Royce, co-host along with my dad, Sinbad. You want to say something, Dad?
I'm Dad. And I'm not going to try to talk a lot. I'm trying not to talk a lot because I've already been told I speak too much. We want to keep this at a certain amount of time. See, I'm old school. There's no time limit on the old school world.
Yeah. So we're here to represent, the two generations of Blerds who've grown up in this community. And one likes to talk a little bit more than the other.
Don't tell people about yourself, Royce. Don't tell people about yourself,
man. Telling on yourself already.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Don't tell about yourself, son.
Fancy.
Yes. I'm so glad you both are here because we're now three different types of Blerds that are here and to talk about our experience. So tell me, let's start with you, Royce. What has the Blerd experience been for you?
Oh, man. Honestly, it's been a roller coaster. For me, growing up, my dad, he's the one who actually got me into everything. Gave me my first comic book, which was Spider-Man, and then I loved that. And then he was like, "All right, cool, but also no black people. So here's Black Panther, here's Luke Cage, and all this stuff," and just started versing me in this world, and I just ate it up. And then I think that was kind of like the gateway drug to. I love cartoons and then anime when I was younger, and then sci-fi movies, all that stuff, and it just grew and grew from there. And personally, it was always great because there's these stories which I think now people are just now starting to find and appreciate. These stories were so impactful in my life growing up, and it kind of just helped me make sense of the world when I kind of felt lost. So from that perspective, being a Blerd was awesome. But on the other end, we didn't have the Marvel movies yet and DC, and we didn't have Batman, Dark Knight and all that stuff. So people who weren't familiar with our world, it was kind of shunned upon, got made fun of a lot by white and black. Or just, anybody who didn't understand kind of what, being a Blerd, being a nerd was all about. And I feel like we were always put in the box of okay, if you were a nerd, you had glasses, you have asthma, which I do have all those things. But
I was like, do you have asthma too?
I have asthma. That's besides the point. We were we were put in a box of okay, you're this weird person who's antisocial, who will never get anywhere in life. Being in high school, not being the popular kid, even though for a lot of people, given who my dad is, everyone thought, I would be the popular kid. Then when they learned how I was and found out my personality, they're like, "Oh, that's we thought you were different," And then it's just then there's that part of it, which I think weighed heavier on me because people thought that I would be a certain way. I'd just be acting a fool, telling jokes left and right. But then I would try and tell them about Dragon Ball Z, and they're like, "What are you talking about? What is this? This is weird."
They're like, "I've never heard Sinbad say that in a stand-up."
Right.
Why would you talk about it?
What is happening?
But chasing that white Power Ranger.
Right. Yeah. So
I
fanatic for Power Rangers, all that stuff. So from that end, kind of never really feeling like I kind of had a place. It's I feel like back then it's if you were a nerd, being a nerd was for white people. But then with the white people, they were still like, well, no, you can't be in our group because, this is our stuff. And then with the black people on the other end, we're like, yeah, but if you like that stuff, you ain't black. Because I had a friend who also liked anime, and I didn't even know about it till our senior year in high school because I was always talking about it. And then he was like, hey, man, so I just want you to know, I watched Naruto. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, but don't tell anybody. I'm like, hold up, what?
It's a trip,
you just been having me suffer on my own all these years?
He just wants you to take that L.
Right. I'm like, bro.
You take that L.
He's like, yeah, man, I just don't want people to know because of how people react. I'm like, no, man, get out of here, faker. I ain't got time for this. So, that kind of always sucked, and kind of I always had which is a whole nother conversation, but I always had that identity crisis of, not being black enough, being whitewashed, all this stuff. So being in that Blerd community, I felt kind of heightened that at the same time. So it was a place where I loved being, but it also was very isolating, if that makes sense. But then of course, once I hit college and then these movies started to come out, and now it was cool to like all this stuff and to be a nerd. That's when everyone was like, "Hey, man, I actually really like Spider-Man. I didn't get a chance to tell you." And I'm just like, "Get away from me."
Oh yeah, now you.
I don't want to talk to any of you guys. It's like, yeah, man, Iron Man's actually pretty cool. I'm like, bro, I've been trying to tell you all about freaking vibranium for years, and you thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. Now all of a sudden, oh, it's cool. It's the black culture, whatever. So
now you got Jack for Blade. We told people it's a favorite comic book. He said, but the best one of DC was Blade, and people freaked out. Now Blade is legendary. But back then, you know,
it wasn't being shown, right? Things like Blade, just loving your blackness. What Spawn was out when I was a kid, and
right.
I just remember Michael J. White. That's his name, right?
Michael J. White.
Michael J.
I was like, y'all don't see this man do karate. This is a black man doing karate. Like, we gotta appreciate it.
Till this day, the most
he should have been one of the
underrated action
Royce
star.
Royce knows him. We know him, but he should have been Michael J. White. Should have been Rock before the Rock.
I agree.
Yep.
Michael J. White,
and he looks younger than The Rock right now.
Yeah. Still in great shape.
Yeah, he does. Michael don't age.
Yeah.
Michael can still fight.
Yeah. He's actually in the DC, I guess, universe, because he's in the Arrowverse. He's on Arrow, and he was part of the Suicide Squad.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
On CW, but I don't think that he gets his propers. He should
not
be
even close.
Yeah, he should
not
be
even
on
close.
Big blockbuster movies. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like speaking of that, we always said that Michael J. White, he would have been, if they did a movie of him, he would have been a great Black Lightning. If they ever did that.
Oh, he should have been Black Lightning.
They have the TV show.
He should have been Black Lightning.
Yeah.
But we ain't gonna talk about Black Lightning.
He would have been.
We ain't gonna get me into Black Lightning. We ain't gonna, we ain't gonna even get started. We ain't gonna get me started on that.
Yeah.
Instead of Skip, that was his name on Living Single, right? Skip.
Yeah.
They got Skip instead.
Right.
I was like, Skip don't know karate. He's a nice guy.
Wait, it was Skip, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Skip. Yeah.
Yep. It all makes sense now, right?
Right. It's all connecting.
Makes sense.
But yeah.
So Sinbad, how long have you been into nerdom? Because I've always looked to you when I was younger, like these are like Sinbad would tease me if he knew the real
No.
You know what I mean?
But I still would tease you. Because remember, nerds tease. We dog each other like, man, what kind of action figure? Man, ain't no real action figure. His arm all messed up. See, remember, nerdism now has become a thing. Nerd has a world now. It's almost hip to be a nerd, which that's why I'm so like, you know, we're saying Blerd. We were saying this. I was saying Blerd years and years ago, and now it's a hip term. If you go hashtag Blerd, anytime something becomes hip, it's like hip hop, you lose a piece of it. Mm-hmm. Once something, I'm glad for the cats involved. It got hip, but a piece of it's gone because it belonged to us. So me, I've always been this way. But remember, now they call you nerd. Hey man, you a nerd growing up. When I'm coming up, it's called nerd, which is also punk, which is also sissy, which is also white boy, which is also man, what's wrong with you? So it was almost like you're ostracized. Mm-hmm. So I did this on purpose because I was in the band. I did the class. I was in the band. I was in the marching band, so I was in the drum and bugle corps. So all that nerd stuff, but I said, I gotta offset this with some funk. So I also played in the funk band. I said, I DJ'd. I said, I played basketball. I had to hide the nerd side by having the other side, you know? But the nerd side, I was more comfortable with. But then I would meet pure nerds. I said, oh, I can't hang with him.
Right.
I watched the nerd get beat up and I didn't help.
Oh no!
See, you're the
but
one.
I told him,
leaving people hanging.
But Royce, I told him. I said, man, just don't be walking around with the book out, with the comic book out. Man, you can't do that. They ain't ready for us yet.
Right.
I mean, he's going through the hallway. They're not gonna tell me how to live, dude. They caught him going around the corner. I did this because by having my spidey senses, I saw it coming. See, a nerd don't know the gangsters. I knew the gangsters. I said, we ain't taking this hallway. I'm going back the other way. Or if I do take the hallway, I know, hey, yo, what's up, man? What's up, man? Good game. Thank you, man. What's up? What's up? I knew how to drop it. He couldn't drop it till what's up, what's up. He's like this. Come on, you know what? Come on. I said, oh, well, he did that? Come on. He said, come on, man. Beat down. And he looked at me.
Did you participate in teasing this young man as well? Or you just
I teased him after he got beat down. I teased him he got beat down. I said, dude, what did I tell you? I know you told me. I said, come on, get up. We got to go.
It's tough love, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. I was trying to show them how to survive. It's like The Walking Dead. You got to show your new people, man, you just got in the village. You can't walk around like that.
Right.
Take that shirt off, put the other shirt on.
You gotta be quiet.
You got to be quiet. Our time will come. Not today.
Right.
This is just a couple, 25 years from now.
Yeah, 25 years later, now all of a sudden, oh, Sinbad, you always had, but remember, all my friends read comic books. Not just, I think we're a hybrid when I was coming up, because every once a month, comic books would come to a little drugstore, had enough money to get a couple, so we all bought all the comic books, and we sit and pass them. We sit on the curb and pass the comic books, and we have the comic books. But if you rolled it up, if you rolled the comic book, man, don't you roll my comic book up. Don't you fold my comic book. I would make people wash their hands before I read my comic books. I was the keeper of the books. I put them in plastic. I was keeper of the comic books. So I was the library. People come by, hey, man, you got the new Hulk? Yeah, I got the Hulk. So I bring it out. I said, but you got to read it here. You can't take it with you.
So you were like a speakeasy for comic book nerds.
Yes.
Yo, what's the password? Before
Right.
I gotta know, who's this man you got with you? Is he good?
Check this though. Jim Mitchum played college ball with me. I think his comic book collection is worth almost $250,000.
That's crazy.
We used to sit there.
Who's this person? Where does he live?
Jim Mitchum. Oh, I told you about Jimmy, 6'8". Jimmy is 6'8". He has all originals, Royce, in plastic. He would let us use them. I would trade one of mine for one of his. We would trade. Remember, I lost my comic books in a fire, in a flood. I lost all my comic books. Do you know Jimmy went through some stuff? It's like all of us playing ball. He threw his comic books in the trash.
Oh.
His sister went to the trash and got them all out.
Oh, okay, so they're the
Wow.
And then when he came to his senses a few years ago, I'm talking about just a few years ago, he's in his 60s like me. He said, I lost all my comic books. His sister said, no, you didn't. She had all his comic books. They're probably worth $250,000. He goes, well, she wants half. Do she owe half? You owe her half.
She owe half because she threw it away.
Yeah, you
it's no longer your property.
You owe her half. And then my cousin, the Jones, Rita Jones, all the cousins I got in Denver, Royce, he has the original Spider-Mans. He has the original Hulks. He has the original Iron Man. He has them all. Royce,
that's crazy.
He has them all in his basement. And I've been talking to Junior. I said, Junior, you got to put these locked up somewhere. You got to get them appraised. Yeah. He has all the, I'm talking about originals, first issue.
And that's what's crazy because like
first issue.
For us, it's like we have to like look and search for these originals. Like for y'all, it's like you went into the store and literally bought that first copy.
We bought them.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that new Spider-Man's out. Let me grab that.
Okay. Yeah,
that's dope. That's dope.
Like, my dad is a huge nerd, and he grew up, reading comic books, things like that. And I just remember him telling me reading that Gwen Stacy died. And like just him, he was like, it's the equivalent of watching how we watch a show. We watch like Game of Thrones and everyone gets clapped, and you're like, oh, and he was like, it was just like that. Like everybody was like,
and
did
angry.
You read? Yeah, and
angry.
And hurt.
That's
angry.
I can only imagine. And then you gotta wait. You gotta wait.
Like who you gonna date now? Who's Spider-Man gonna get with now? She the only one that got him. Gwen was the only one that was cool with him.
Like Mary Jane? That doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, they're like, yuck. Yuck, Mary Jane.
Mary Jane. But they brought him sassy Mary Jane. But Gwen Stacy was his girl.
Yep.
And his grandmother loved her.
And she was like his equal. I always felt like Gwen Stacy was his equal, smart. Yeah. Nope. Versus like Mary Jane. She's just annoying and just.
Well, the early Mary Janes, she was sassy. Remember the redhead sassy? They made her more like this for your generation. I told Royce, there's a period of time I just jumped out of comics. They came out with the Venom and Dark Verse and Dark Superman. I said, who the hell are these people? It became the Dark World. I said, Dark Superman. What, he got killed? Superman got killed? I was like, I'm out. I'm out. I don't even know where this world. I'm out.
Well, you know what it is with comic books now? I think some of it is because we're so much older. So it's like before comic books were for children and for teenagers, but now we're all bringing it with us. And we're some dark individials. So they're like, yo, we need to kill everybody.
They put in the book.
Exactly. So I definitely seen it. I just know for me growing up, I grew up in the age of Toonami. So for that was like not just Toonami, but like the X-Men animated series,
Yeah.
and the Spider-Man animated series, and Batman's animated series. So that was like everyone's gateway to get into these things. But it was like boys' gateway to get into things, right? So like Black men were a little bit more comfortable talking about it, particularly like Dragon Ball Z. But then, like, if I rolled up, they're like, "Get out of here!" Like, what are you doing here? You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. But in the end, I think it kind of helped me because then I learned how to code switch that I feel like a lot of my peers didn't learn. And that's where that anger towards women comes. Like, oh, you like hip hop, you like this, you can't like what I like.
Right.
Because I had to learn how to like be around Black people and then secretly read on my own in a closet. But then I learned how to code switch, and like we had secret message boards back when AOL and AIM got
right.
So it was like I felt like a superhero myself, like living this double life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Alter ego.
It was like my alter ego. And then it's like now I get to like let my freak flag fly, and I get to enjoy being a Blerd and like bump Meg the Stallion and stuff like that. But then also like get into an in-depth breakdown of like, you know, Dragon Ball Z or Batman.
But
like
brothers like girl nerds now.
They say it.
No, when they get to a certain age, they might say to your face, brothers like, yo, she at the fan club. Dudes like now, especially when she's knowledgeable. It's like a girl who go to basketball games, she go like this. How you gonna get in the paint like that? You go like this. She talking about the paint. She talking about blocking out. Now we on a whole nother level. Now, remember when you was young, it's not just animation. Girls got cooties. Remember when you're young, I'm in the, you know, you go in your like, I got a tree house and if a girl go, I'm coming up. You can't come up. Girls got cooties. So then as guys get older, you go like, I'll show you my comic book. Cause now, you know, like, she's still your friend and, oh yeah, she like comic books and your boys, what you doing? No, she cool, man. No, I let her come over sometime. Cause you're still fighting that peer thing. Cause she's a girl. Now you know her sexuality, but she still like comic books. So you still got, that's why you're almost like you're friends, but you like her. She's your best friend. She's like, why are you looking at me like that? Because now you're like, I don't know.
I think that's only for nerd men. Because like, I would date guys who were like not quote unquote nerds, or like, I just like MCU movies. And then like they'll come in and they'll see like, I got like an anime on something obscure and weird, like Akira or something.
Right.
And they're like, what is this weird, you know what I mean?
Right. But you got to drop him right away.
Yeah.
See, if a dude does that, even with me, if a dude come in, what's all this? No, man, don't bring him no more.
Yeah. And that's
don't bring him. I mean, I'm like, as a dude, don't bring him no more. If I got to explain this to you, or if you can't, even if you don't understand it, at least go, hey man, what's that? See, I'm all right with somebody that might not get it, but his mind is opened up like this. What is all this? Oh, dude, look, I want you to watch 4 episodes of this. And sometimes you can convert.
Because that's the thing, because that's the difference too, where we get into these nerds who have come over because of the movies, right? And like the TV shows and the popular forms of these characters. So you're like, oh yeah, I like this, and this. You're like, oh, me too, I love those movies. And then like you said, then they come to your place and they're like, oh no, she like really loves this stuff. I only know what I saw in the movie. And then you get into stuff like, oh well, actually in the comics this happens, that doesn't happen in the movies. And then they're like, okay, I'm out. This is too much.
No, he goes like this. Hey, I'll call you. He gets his boy. You're the girl Frankie. Man, girl Frankie. Yo, man, did you see the dolls she had and the toys? Yeah, man, I had to get out. Man, I was scared.
They was like, I thought she was gonna turn me into a toy.
Right. Yeah.
She into that voodoo.
Because that's.
But you also don't want the super nerd dude. Even super nerd girls don't want the super nerd. Not the super nerd dude like this. I saw your posters, and you're like, how can I put his knowledge in this other dude's body?
Right.
Because you don't even want that super nerd like, what you doing, Frankie? You gonna go to the Comic-Con this week? And you find yourself lying. No, I was gonna go Friday.
Right, was it?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm there every day.
And then he sees you. You said you weren't going, Frankie. Oh, God. I hurt Nerd's friend. His little feelings.
I'm just asking for a muscular, black, full-on male rapper doctor. Is that a lot?
Who also watches anime?
Who watches anime?
But you know what?
Right.
It's like the Wu-Tang Clan. Them brothers was talking about stuff like Wu-Tang.
It's true.
Wu-Tang was talking about stuff, even like RZA. I said, them brothers are deep into it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was down with it, and no one said nothing about it. No one said there was something whack about it. That's what I liked about it. They didn't hide from it.
Yeah. Well, plus, they was gangsters. The Wu-Tang Clan is nothing to mess with.
Yeah.
So who's gonna say something to the Wu-Tang Clan? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But RZA actually did a kung fu movie, didn't he?
Yes, he did, and it's good.
He's in a couple.
Yeah, he's got a couple of them.
Space, yeah.
The first one, the man with the iron fist. That's the only one.
The one in the village, where he's in the village and had to save the people in the village.
Yeah,
and I love that movie.
Man. He's scored a couple other projects too. I can't think of the names, but he's like versed into that kung fu space, martial arts action scene, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, they definitely broke the barrier.
Big time. I like that too, showing the diversity, like with Michael B. Jordan, the Wu-Tang Clan, Meg Thee Stallion, where it's like, Black people have always lived with duality, right?
Yeah.
Beyond nerddom, I have to be able to talk to white people and Black people. We've always lived with this duality, and I think we're starting to show it and showcase like how much we put on our plate and how eclectic our taste can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Only thing you can't do when I was in college, that Dungeons and Dragons, bro, that's a deep hole to go down.
Sinbad, let's make it hot now. I think you like it.
But see, you don't understand. Cats got killed at my college. Dungeons and Dragons, they would find real dungeons. They would find these dank places to go. They found this underground all these caverns underneath the college campus. They broke this padlock, man. One of the brothers ended up dead. I said, see, y'all thinking you wizard and wizarding and y'all down in this hole. I'm gonna bring a gun and shoot one of y'all. Y'all got your little wizard warlock. Cause it was crazy. They were so serious. To this day, they don't know how this brother died, man.
Well,
and that's why I said in the newspaper, some Dungeons and Dragons, and if your kids are playing Dungeons and Dragons, don't let them play Dungeons and Dragons.
And that's the thing is like, that's why it's important to know the difference between fantasy and reality.
Yeah.
Because when you start meshing the two, that's, I guess, how people die. Playing Dungeons and Dragons, which is not good.
It's like cosplay. Cosplay can get really out there. Because some of those folks got nice costumes and some are like, I think he's that dude.
Yeah.
For real. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep, for real. But Frankie, I actually have a question just kind of like with what you were saying. Like, so you're saying even today, even though the Blerd world, it's more open, more accepting, you feel like being a Black woman who is also a Blerd, that do you think it's that it might be too much for them, or do you think it's a situation where it's like, oh, kind of like that man thing where it's like, okay, you can know this stuff, but you can't know it more than me?
Right. I think it's a little bit of all of it. Some of it is the way I dress and the way I talk. Mm-hmm. So I don't fit into the box that they have already set for female nerds, right? I'm not white, I'm not Asian.
Right.
And I just don't fit into that aesthetic. So when I talk and on my page, I set up a debate forum. So I put out a video, I'm saying like, hey, these characters you love, like, are not as good as you thought or are not as strong as you thought. And it's me challenging their knowledge, which to a lot of men, especially nerd men, this is the
only how dare you
have power. Yeah, this is their only power. So they're like, who does she think she is? And the most trill ones, what they do is they may challenge me in my comments, and then once I shut them down or tell them like, this is my perspective, then they roll up in my DMs with like some hateful things. You know what I mean? And the sad thing is, the worst comments I've gotten are actually from Black men. So not Asian men, not white men. Yeah.
Really?
I get a lot of bad comments from Black men. Now, these are the hermit, ashy, never seen a woman in person.
Right.
All right, cool. Okay, I'm glad. Okay. Yeah, he's the hateful brother. Because he's a brother that don't fit. He's a brother that's getting jacked by brothers too. So his only thing is this world. Because he ain't fit nowhere.
Right.
Exactly.
And he ain't fit nowhere.
And his problem is you're rattling it and he hates that.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I've had some, and I've said it before, I've had some like attractive or like regular men who have status there, but in the same way it becomes a threat. So like I started my page about a year ago and I've been able to grow because I'm different, just being a woman. And to these guys, my counterparts, it is also a threat to them, right? Like, we've been working so hard, and this woman comes with red lipstick, and it just throws off their static clothes. So they may not say anything hurtful, but instead they'll gatekeep, right? So they'll slide in a quick line like, "Did you read this? Or did you see this?" Or like da 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 da, and like question my validity,
your authority. Yeah, are you authentic?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Do you think, okay, because a lot of this world, I'm not a gamer. I didn't realize in the world of Twitch, I went to Twitch and I was just like a fly on the wall because I was going to do my music on Twitch. So I ain't never going back there. I'm sorry. Does it hurt when you have a lot of gamer women? It's almost semi-porn. Some of the girls are gaming and they're half naked and they're playing this game. I say, that's a dangerous game. Dudes aren't stable.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it as a dude, because these guys threaten to rape, they threaten to kill. There was a woman who was in charge of the Female Gamer Association, Royce. She dropped out. They put her address out. They said, go kill her, go rape her. Dang. It was so, vicious attack. I said, man, if that had been my sister, I swear to God, you'd seen Sinbad do 25 years. I'd have found them all. I'd have found little gamer boy while you sitting with your headphones on in the basement. But they said some of those foul things. But then I watched, I said, some of these gamer girls, I said, it's a, I don't know, it's almost like it's almost like Pornhub has seeped in to a little bit all our life. And what's the other one now? People just, where they get paid?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans?
So
yeah. So OnlyFans, because there's ones who go way out with the sex, and there's some who just, here's some pictures of me. And I said, we're blurring the lines between sexuality. So when a girl is just a girl, I'm gaming, but she's still sexy. I'm a girl, I'm a female. But now because they see this is the one we've been watching. Oh, you ain't like her? And you're going to try to give me authority? And you're going to try to be halfway dressing up nice? And then talk to me? These dudes don't know how to react to anything that threatens them. Yeah. Anything.
Yeah, no, I see that often where men will try to sexualize me, which is crazy. I don't even really show like more than my shoulders. You know what I mean? Like there's I'll do a live or I'll do something streaming where I'm dissecting a character and all the comments will be about like my lips, the way I look, things like that. Because in their mind, they're like, I've been taught that you, and not just like from the girl gamers and stuff, like in the actual content, right? You see Storm, you see G, they're wearing bikinis to fight in a war. So it's like, why are you talking to me in regular clothes about this is not your place? Like this is not how you should be talking to me. And I actually lost out on a couple of panels at a couple of cons because when I would apply, they would be like, so you're not a cosplayer? And I'm like, no. And they're like, so what are you gonna do here? I was like, talk like your other like commentators that are gonna come. And they're like, I don't know, like
that's absurd.
Bring in as much people. Yeah.
Bring your mask.
Just a
bring
girl.
your mask. Bring your mask.
Right.
You sure you don't cosplay at all? Which I do, but on some like fun tip. I'm not creating things out of foam. I buy something from Spirit Halloween.
Right.
That's what I'm wearing.
You mix and match.
So, you mix and match. Most of the time, it's what I'm wearing. I went to Comic-Con and I had on like my leather jacket and like my jeans. Just because like it was like the first day, people were like, "Oh, you're Jessica Jones." I was like, "Oh no, this is Brooklyn attire."
Right, this is just me.
This is just how I dress. I'm sorry. You know. But it's really
crazy.
hard.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really hard to break that. And I gotta say, it's also hard to not feed into that, right? I'm like, dang, I'm busting my butt editing, writing scripts, doing all this stuff. I can show my feet and get a lot of money.
But you know what though?
Right?
You laughing. What one girl, this one little singer just started her OnlyFans, made $22,000 the first night. Didn't show nothing, but just like this. Hey, because they keep thinking y'all know I ain't gonna never take my clothes off, but they keep coming back like she playing, man.
One day
she gonna bring it to us.
One day she's gonna do
it. She gonna bring it. She gonna bring it, man.
Yeah, man, it's very difficult. But then it also, I feel like we bridge like, so for right now in the Blerd community, I'm one of the only I want to say mean outwardly. Like, I'm not just reporting the news. I'm here to like step on people's throats and tell them like what I think is right and wrong. So like the minute I start to go down that sexual route, that paves the way for like, this is the route you need to go. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a really hard burden to bear for sure.
Man. You wish, you know what? Think about a man who's in the anime, a man who's a Blerd, whatever. A man never has to think. I never have to think. That's not even a piece. It's hard enough our life, but that's something I never have to do it.
Right.
The moment a woman steps to Comic-Con, Castle, like when a woman walks through the door of Comic-Con, all the dudes, I said, and I know woman has to feel it. She's just walking down the aisle. She's not even cosplaying. Well, you saw the girl, Royce with the WakandaCon.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And the girl with the booty out. You see her coming, but when she turned, it was a thong, and Royce said, "Come on, man."
It was just straight booty. It was too much.
What was her costume?
Who was she? It's a child's thing. Like I used to go as a kid.
No, it's a family event. But yeah, this was in Chicago. This is
who was she supposed to be? Who was she supposed to be?
Honestly,
she made it her own. She wasn't even a superhero.
I don't even think she was like anybody.
Super booty. She was super booty. She didn't even have a.
She was her own character.
Yes.
But yeah, but with that too, because I was going to say with your Jessica Jones comment, I'm surprised they said that, and because usually, being a black nerd, the most we'll get is, well, you can't be that character because you're black. Character's white, and it's just like, well then. No, come on. Let's just forget that part of it. But it's just like
called cosplay, fool.
Yeah,
I can be anything I want to be.
So it's like
I love when they say that about anime character, because I'm like, know they're Japanese,
right? Like you can't be that either.
You can't do it either. You out here talking about me.
And just from like things that I've heard, because working on my comic books and stuff, I've been like more on the inside rather than just a spectator going to them, and actually like being there like the day to day, hearing everybody and how they talk, and like so just from things I've heard, I've heard men there talk about women like, oh, well, she can't be that character, like it could be like a race thing, but then a lot of times it's like, oh, well, she can't be that character, like her boobs aren't big enough, or like, oh, she ain't got no butt, like what is she doing trying to be that character? I'm like, bro, you don't have a six-pack. Like, what are you doing? Like, chill.
It'd be the guys who look like melted ice cream talking about your body.
Exactly.
And you're like, where is this coming from?
Like, you need to
I have one. I have a picture on my computer I can't unsee. It was the fattest Batman I ever seen. And dude, he was just sitting. He was taking a break. You know how they make the money in Hollywood? And he was just sitting on taking a break. And a brother walked by in the video like this. Man, you need to take that off, bro. I mean, but he was serious. He was offended. Bro,
right.
you're doing Batman a disservice. You need to take that off. And the guy got so timid, he got in his car. Batman got in his car and left.
Oh, man.
Children out here, this might be the first Batman they see. This ain't how it should be for children seeing Batman.
It's like, just let him live his life. He just wants to be Batman.
He just want to be Batman for a day. Let him be fat Batman.
Right.
Batman never got fat, even after
No, he was charging. He was charging people money to pose with the kids.
I mean,
Thank you.
We got Fat Thor now, so it's
we got Fat Thor for anything.
I still got my I got my issues with that. That Thor with a gut. Fat Thor messed me up because you know what? Because to become a Fat Thor means. Remember, I come from old school. So I don't know if you did you read all the Thor books from way from the beginning?
I read a good amount.
Where he was the doctor.
I read the age when it was like super psychedelic. And in space and stuff like that,
Oh no! Let me tell you, the original Thor, and on Earth he was a doctor with a limp. He walked with a stick that became his hammer. So when I first saw the Thor movies, I said, "Did they just throw that story away?" So my generation, we have to throw stories away. I had to, because I told Royce, but made him so cool. He was a doctor, always has a white nose. He had a limp, so he was a little handicapped. He had his little wooden stick, and that's how he went through life. And women kind of pity liked him, like Spider-Man, but the woman who loved Thor didn't like the doc because he wasn't strong. But he'd go in that room, hit that stick on the ground, here's Thor.
Yeah, they took out the whole alter ego.
That's what I kind of thought was hilarious about Clark Kent and Superman, because he never got smaller or deflated, right? He just was a punk. So women didn't like Clark Kent, who was just as handsome,
just as in shape.
Thank you.
Just as in shape as Superman because of his demeanor. Lois Lane, who worked for him, was dating Superman, not knowing. which I think is entrapment. Not knowing that Clark Kent, is right there. So she out here probably at the break table with her friends, like,
right.
Clark is such a punk,
right?
Yeah,
I know.
He's single, and then going on a date right after is super with Clark, and Clark just laughing.
But tell the truth. Look at this. See, I'm a whole different. Look at that. I'm a whole different dude. I don't even know who I am.
Who's this man?
I ain't who.
The thing is, that's honestly another superpower. Yeah, he was able to turn off his swag.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really a big part of it. He's like, all right.
Which is smart psychologically. Think about it. It was more like you're not even going to see me.
Right.
Think about what he did. You're not even going to see me. And when Christopher Reeve played the first Superman, he caught that. He caught. Remember, Christopher Reeve came back and beat the guy up in the North Pole. I've been working out. It was like at the end. Yeah, I've been working out a little bit. He was able to be anti-Superman. It was like he was like punk Superman.
Yeah. And I think Melissa, I can never say her last name, but the Supergirl in the CW show that's out right now, she does the same exact thing. And they even joke about it, that she's so mousy and like she has her little glasses and she always wears her hair different versus someone confident that they're like, yeah, you kind of look like Supergirl, but they're like, nah, like Supergirl is a G. She would never, be like this. And I loved it. They even talk about it in Kill Bill, where Bill is doing this big monologue and he's talking about how like Superman is the critique on the world. He sees us as weak and soft. And because of that, so he is Superman, and he was playing to be this punk. And that's interesting. I think that's interesting. And I think that ties to our blackness, right? Sometimes we're like, I know working in corporate America with like a lot of white people, it's like I can be an unordinary because I'm so much better than them, right? We have to be twice as good when we get there.
Right.
So it's like I'm like this watered down version of Frankie. I'm just Francis chilling there, like, yeah, I think we should do this, and then I get back at night and I'm like, yeah, and then I'm fanboy fighting. Like,
right.
I'm about to say that.
Very different women.
You ever been out and somebody look at you like, Frankie? I've taken people out, waitresses that worked at the comedy club. So I'm gonna take everybody out, all the waitresses. I didn't recognize them. I'm going to let them in the club, and they go like this, Sinbad. I'm like, I don't know her. They go like, Sinbad. I go like,
it's me.
Right.
I was like, okay, Clark Kent could do this.
Right.
Because I would have never picked it up.
It's easier for women too. We can take off our makeup, do our hair totally different, and just carry ourselves in a way that you're like, I didn't even know that was you. For me, I could wear baggier clothes and stuff like that, and then you see me somewhere else, so you're like, I didn't know that was Frankie. You know what I mean? But for men, I feel like it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Dudes can do it. You can come out that. Dudes can be in the corporate world. I've seen cats put the nose earring in, put his earrings back in, go out, and cats like, whoa, Peter. Yeah.
You turn off your white voice.
Yeah, that's what you do.
At the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement, of course, I became the soundboard for everyone I worked with.
Yes.
Like, tell me about your experience. And I just remember my boss had asked me about code switching, and she was like, for instance, is that a thing? Like, do you change your voice around us? And I was like, yes, I can back at a job, talking how I talk to my friends. And she was like, so it's like another language? I was like, it is an entirely different language. There could be a class on code switching. And
it's another, not just language, it's another movement. It's another way of moving through life. I said, now, reason I'm a comic, because I refuse to turn it off. So I'm the kind of guy, when I'm doing corporate gigs, they're like, corporate bros like this. Man, I wish I was free like you, brother. You walked in on this dude. He don't like nobody. You shut it down like, you in charge? Let me talk to him. And they were like, man, you just smashed his face. I said, I love the fact that I don't have to be anything other than what I am. But I've lost gigs in Hollywood because when I sit in a meeting with him, they're like this. He is not Sinbad the family man. We thought he was. He's very angry. He's very angry.
And the thing is, what's cool is like, even as a comedian, which I've always like, kind of envied, was that when you're a comedian, you could say whatever you want to people and they always think you're playing. So someone's like, "Oh, Sinbad, you're crazy." He's like, "Yeah, get out of my face." "Oh, Sinbad, yeah, oh, you're so funny." He's like, "No, I hate you. Get out." And they're like, "Okay, cool. All right, I'll see you later."
Man, all right, I'm gone. I'm gone.
You just told them to get out of your face, and they were laughing. That's crazy.
I love it. So you could be like authentically you all the time.
Oh yeah.
And people won't take it offensively because they're like, that's just Sinbad.
He's been with me. Somebody said, "Man, can I just get cut line and get one item?" No, hell no. Oh, Sinbad, you crazy.
I'll stay back here. Like it's crazy.
He crazy. He let me stand in line.
And then it's probably an antidote to their friends, like
right.
Yeah.
One time I saw Sinbad and he was like, "Get out of my face."
He checked me, man. He checked me.
Let Royce do it. They're gonna be like,
"Nah, it don't work with me."
Oh, he think because he's Sinbad's son. See, it'll go triple for him. He think because he's Sinbad's son, he think he can talk to people like that.
He's a jerk. Oh, he's stuck up. It's a whole nother story for me.
It's totally different, man. Yeah. You can't even deny it. I was before we got on, I was telling Royce that he looks so similar to you. You know what I mean? So it's like, all you're missing is the red hair. I don't know how you haven't cosplayed as him yet.
But one day after the show at the Halloween, he dressed up as me. He went in my closet, got my bright colored shirts, my bright pants, and put some spray. It made like a little red in his hair.
Yeah.
And they caught on. They go like, "That dude's a little Sinbad." I said, "I don't know if I dig that they thought that was me."
That's the first time where I really was like, "Wow, I really must look like him." Because went into his closet, he had all his old clothes from the 90s, sprayed my hair red, got his hoop earrings on, all that stuff, and went out. We went to Santa Barbara for their because for Halloween it gets crazy over there. So we were down there, and literally everybody was like, "Oh, you're supposed to be Sinbad. You're supposed to." I'm like, "Oh snap, they actually get me. That's crazy."
See it.
Right, and I was like, "Okay, I must look like it."
And then they didn't have a Halloween costume.
I didn't have anything.
Man, I was gonna go as you, man.
But then
I love it.
A couple people found out that I was your son, and they got mad. They're like, "Yo, that's cheating, man. How could you do that?" And I'm like,
"That is cheating. That is cheating.
I guess
cheating.
It is.
You got the same face. That's half the work."
It's cheating a little bit, I guess. But people they were like angry.
You should have did the Jingle All the Way.
With the mailman outfit.
Yeah, the mailman.
I know.
All beaten up.
That actually would have been great. Not too late.
You're actually the age now where you can actually do that. So
be
sure to give me credit, please.
I like that. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah. I was telling Royce, I also look like my dad, but it's not as cute because he is a 65-year-old man. So when people are like, "Oh, you look exactly like your dad," I'm like, "Yeah, but a woman."
Yeah,
I'm a woman.
Right.
And I'm young.
Like him that much.
And I'm young. Come on now.
And I'm younger. Well, the black don't crack, so he's still looking pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'll still pull the ladies, man. Or at least I gotta say that. I gotta say that here that he's still
right.
I always wonder it must be hard for a woman when a girl, especially when a mother knows she looks young and she knows she's going places and they go, "Y'all look like sisters." I said, think for the daughter how it must feel. You 26, your mama 45, 50 years old. Y'all look like sisters. Yeah. Look, please don't tell my mama she looks like my sister.
Right.
We 25 years difference.
They have a big head for the rest of the day. My mom also looks young, and we went to a comedy show once, and this guy was like, "Oh, is this your sister?" And she goes, "My daughter's." And he looks at me, he goes, "Well, you look terrible. You look terrible for your age."
Dang.
What?
Not like I look old, but he's trying to say, if this is my daughter, that I look terrible for the age because we look like we're the same.
Man.
Wow.
My wife, when we took Paige to Arizona State, my daughter, and they're walking, I'm behind them, they're like, "Oh, we got 2 new freshmen." I said, "Nobody mistake me for a freshman." I like, but I'm both their daddies. Is that what y'all trying to say?
They're like, not you, but them back there.
Right.
Them two right there.
I love it. You mentioned earlier, Royce, about your comic book. So I got a chance to read it, you guys. It's Althea, right?
Yeah, Legend of Althea.
Fire.
Thank you.
Tell me, what made you pick first of all, she has vitiligo, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She has vitiligo, Black woman, curly hair, Black daddy. Like, what made you go that route?
I mean, honestly, because I felt like that is needed more in the comic space. Because I'm all about spreading diversity as much as possible. Because, like I said, like when it comes to film, because I'm a filmmaker, that's like my background, and science fiction has always been my favorite genre. Everything I write is science fiction, but it's also a genre where we're just not represented at all. Or if we are, we're always a sidekick. We die off, what have you. So whenever I write anything with science fiction, I always try to bring as much as us, and not just us, but just try and like bring a more accurate representation of the world in my stories. And so once I started converting over to comic books, that same drive, that same goal came with me. So everything that I was doing, I was like, okay, I want to make sure that we're all represented as much as possible. And so with the characters I would make, at first I was like, all right, everybody's gonna be black. Then I would spread it out. And then I'm like, more importantly, not just that, you know, we got to have some strong women characters as well. And like we have a lot of strong female superheroes, and there's more being shown in the mainstream. And the mainstream, and this is like the misconception is like with the mainstream, obviously it's predominantly white, but there are a lot of diverse characters. It's just they don't get the time or the shine, you know, because it's not a part of the phase, whatever phase we're in, you know. But where I really started falling in love is like with indie comics. You know, I kind of strayed away from mainstream comics, fell in love with indie comics, and you will find so much, like there is so much diversity in indie comics, like things you don't think exist. Somebody has a comic about it, and that's what's so amazing about being in that community. And one of the things I wanted to kind of help push forward was to have that Black female character be that focus, be that main character. But with Althea, it's kind of like some hidden messages in there. So like her power, I'll break down the story. Legend of Althea. It's about this girl named Althea who has this artificial heart transplant, and she gets the ability to heal people, but at a cost to herself. So it's like the amount that she heals, she kind of gets that same damage or pain back to her. So she has to be kind of strategic with it. And so really the message behind that is she's a healer, she's a Black woman. So it's like, for me, I base it a lot on my mom and kind of like how, you know, being a strong Black woman, being a caregiver, to not just us, she has her own story. Like when her mom, she had a stroke and she was like the caregiver for her, and like just seeing that strong presence of her, I really kind of wanted to do a story like that, where it's not so much about the fighting, because I feel like sometimes in the superhero genre, we use fighting as a crutch. So it's like, if we need something cool or deep to happen, I'll throw a fight scene at it. So with me, I'm really trying to push myself creatively. It's like, okay, if her power is to heal and she can't fight, how does that work? Like, how does she maneuver around the world? What type of things can she learn, lessons and things like that? Because ultimately, you know, it's to build her up to be this strong, powerful presence that doesn't necessarily have to be able to punch somebody. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of like a big spark, a reason for why I went with that choice to have her be a Black woman. And now, as far as the vitiligo goes, that is also just another element where I'm like, okay, we could talk about bringing in Black people, Black characters, diversity, you know, other people of color. But then there's within that, there's so much other representation that needs to be done, even within the disabled community. Like, there's just so much out there, so many people out there with so many different things going on that just are not represented. So for me, that's where I try to put a spin on it to kind of you know, represent two things at the same time, and not just with her, but with other characters that I'll reveal later. There's other bringing in other things. You know, there'll be a disabled character in there, and I don't know if a lot of people have picked up on it because I've been subtle about it. But Cray, the guy in the comic, he actually has a limb difference, so he's missing a few fingers in his left hand. So I'm trying to be a little bit more diverse even within that, to show that at the end of the day, we need more people of color, but it's also not just black and white and all that stuff. There's so many other people out there that need representation as well.
And you do such a good job at it. Even your character design is so fire. Like, you even have like vitiligo makes a heart on your face almost. Mm-hmm. Which is, I was like, I see you here. And I just think it's important because it's like, I feel like growing up, the Black characters that I saw never truly represented us, right? Like, even they never looked like us, they never dressed like us, they were just like white characters painted black,
Right.
with the exception of Storm
Mhm.
and Black Panther, but that came during the blaxploitation time and stuff. But
Right.
even still, it's like I think it's important for a young girl to see, and the way you dress them like a black person living around black people, talking to black people, and I just think that's so important now because.
Mhm.
In the age where I can see Batman redone 10 times,
Right.
Yes.
within 10 years,
Yeah. Can we have one?
one, and
Can we
it's
get
hard
one?
because I want, and you guys, please tell me what you think about this. But I love seeing them race bend, right? Like I love seeing them turn Valkyrie black and Mary Jane black. But at the same time, I'm like, y'all don't even got to do all that because we got people in the clip. You and
Royce on point. Royce,
That could be a whole episode on
They
its
just make
own.
another black version of it. Give us something new. I don't need to be the black version of that.
Exactly. Because that goes back to what I was saying. Like, even within the mainstream comics, and when I say like Marvel, DC, like, you know, even Image, Dark Horse, all that stuff, even though they're more on the independent of the mainstream, there's still so many characters, diverse characters that they could use. And that's the frustrating thing. It's like, it's not that we don't exist within those walls at all. We're there. It's just they choose selectively, you know, it's like strategic, like, okay, we'll use this one. We'll use this one for this one. We'll put that one on CW. We'll do, you know, like that type of thing.
That's a CW black.
Right.
CW black, which they all look like me, bro. Different variations.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm like, you don't need, like you said, you don't need a race bend. Honestly, like the only one I'll give, just because I think no one really even knew in the first place, is Nick Fury. Like, plus it's Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
You know, and
he's incredible.
He's the only character. Where I'm like, okay, that one I'll accept.
It should have been Sam.
Right.
You see that? It should have been Sam.
It should have been Sam.
It should have been Sam from day one. I'm sorry.
Because before that, I think David Hasselhoff said he portrayed Nick Fury in like
should have been Sam. It should have been Sam.
And I think he was like butthurt about it because he was like, Stan Lee said I was the greatest Nick Fury.
And it's like, felt so a little bit better.
And Stan was like, yeah, but that was until Samuel Jackson did it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen Sam yet.
He's so good. And you know what? Sometimes they do our characters and they play us crazy. Like Storm, every time they had Storm making ice in that last Dark Phoenix movie. She was making ice for Cyclops at a party. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
she's still like working. She's a waitress.
Yeah.
She's a waitress.
When Halle Berry plays Storm, remember Storm you can't control because you can't Storm. When Storm unleashes, everybody else is back here, and I kept waiting for like y'all couldn't even let this sister. Storm scared people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Storm had a little attitude. Remember, Storm had a little bit. Storm might have been bipolar. I ain't saying nothing, but Storm had a little attitude because you know when she would lose it, man. That's what it was Storm.
And her representation in the movies was a disrespect to her character and disrespect to Halle Berry. Like, do you know who you have right now?
Yes.
Like playing that character? How dare you? Just make her.
I remember she had an African accent that slowly trailed off.
Yeah, she gave up. I think she gave up on that.
She was like, "I'm not doing this anymore. I'm Halle Berry." So.
And like
she moved.
Yeah, and the thing is like,
she moved from Africa.
She moved. And the thing is like, what I always thought was dope in the comics, and I'm like, they would never do this in the movies, but Wolverine's love interest was Storm.
Just gonna say that.
But people don't talk about like how epic would that have been, you know? Because obviously he's that other love interest, but the fact that like there was a moment where him and Storm were like,
that mohawk, didn't he?
Yeah.
He shaved it with his claws. That was fire.
Yep. Yeah, I'm like, they'll never touch that in the movies, but that right there, and that just shows you how like much they were willing to push in the comics. But you know, but of course, it's like it's got to be Storm and Black Panther because that makes sense. Let's do that, guys.
And I actually liked Logan and Storm more than Black Panther because to me, I was like, she don't know T'Challa. Right. You know what I mean? But she lived with him. It made sense. She understood him, and then she got married to T'Challa, and I was like. It's dirty.
Yeah, it was mixed feelings because I remember when that storyline came out, there was like half of us we were like, yeah, Black Power, and like the other half were like, well, we don't need that.
Don't
like,
force it on us.
I feel like that's taking the easy way out.
Yeah, it's like when you talk to your white friends and they're like, I have a great match for you.
Right,
and it's just exactly. Black
you know what's coming. You know what's coming.
It's this black guy.
You know what's coming. Like, you know what's coming.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It was exactly that.
But we say that. we say that, but would you be butthurt if they brought a white nerd to you?
It depends, man.
We say that. We say that.
If he was a fine white nerd,
but they wouldn't give you one. But they wouldn't get you one like that.
I'm gonna take that W.
Right.
But they wouldn't give you that one. That's
one.
the one they give you. They would give you the other one. My cousin, he loves comic books too. Don't you do that. Don't you do that.
You're right. Oh, man.
Don't you do that. Don't you do that.
Don't read me. Please don't read me, man.
Yeah. Now, hey, y'all, we have 56 minutes because I don't want y'all to mess up. I don't want y'all to get your questions in. Yeah. I see, I'm watching y'all. Y'all want you to get your questions in. Yeah, I'm keeping home.
Can you do that on our podcast?
It's right at the top. I'm right at the top. I'm watching the top.
I asked nicely, Royce.
Because she asked.
Okay.
Royce, you never ask.
Well, I ask all the time. I'm like, we need to stop.
You say, Dad, we need to just say it, Royce. Say it.
I say we need to stop. And you're like, all right, cool, but I want to talk about this back in the day in 1974.
I love it. But that's cool. We almost at the end anyway.
Cool.
Both of you guys, thank you for doing this episode with me. This is awesome.
That's cool.
And great
That's
conversation.
No, this is awesome. And what I want to say too, for you, just like watch it, like seeing your page and seeing everything you're doing, even going back to how you were talking about how, like, you challenge you challenge nerds, you make them think differently. Like I remember the most recent video I saw where you were talking about how the Avengers are actually imperialists. I'm like, yeah, like
wow.
she's going for
it.
Like,
I like that.
Like,
all in.
I like that. Stay strong, girl. Yeah. Stay strong. I love it.
So just from
call us if somebody jack with you.
Yeah,
call us.
Yeah, yo, I'm gonna take you up. I'm be like, I'm gonna say Sinbad and Royce on you, and what y'all gonna do?
Right.
And I ain't coming over cosplay. I'm coming over just as me. I ain't wearing no uniform. Yeah, I'm coming just as me.
Yeah. So I just want to say
I'm the Dark White Avenger.
Right.
That's who I am.
Dark White Avenger. So I just want to say how awesome it is, like the fan base you've built on your platform and what you're able to do and really push this community forward as well. So great job.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. You guys, I actually paid Royce to say that. So
yeah, I was obligated.
No, I appreciate it, and I honestly love it. And yeah, you'll continue to see it come out of me. So we definitely 100% have to do this again.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. When the world open up, we all gonna get some cosplay outfits. We gonna get the latex. We gonna get the latex.
I'm gonna pull up.
Let's go.
I'm gonna pull up to LA one day. I'm telling you, I'm gonna come to LA.
No, where you at? Where you at? What part of the world you in? What part of the world you in?
I'm in Brooklyn right now.
Oh, Brooklyn. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm in Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn used to be black.
Out there. Yeah,
Brooklyn used to be black.
Where
Yo,
I'm
man,
at.
dude, they snatched Brooklyn. I can't get in that. They snatched Brooklyn.
I got central air here. That's
right.
You know what this is here.
What?
That's how you know I got central air, yo. And I'm reaping it. I remember when I first like moved to my first place, and this black guy was like, "These gentrifiers." I was like, "Me?"
Ooh. He called you a gentrifier?
Stuff. Yeah.
It's like,
I was like,
we in this together. What are you talking about?
I was like, us? And I was like, I am actually not from this neighborhood. Y'all right.
Right.
Yeah, you gentrified it too.
I'm
in that
new building. I'm in that
right.
New just hit. Dang.
Oh, man.
Hate to see it though.
Man.
You're that tourist that's taking pictures on the steps for a Joker.
Yeah. I'd rather you gentrified than all them though. I'd rather see some young brothers and sisters up in there. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather see that.
Right. If it gotta be one, let it be us. You know what I'm saying?
Come on now. We want central air.
Right.
Exactly. We want central air too. We hot.
Cool, man. That's cool. I'm glad I met you. Young people, I'm glad y'all doing. The world's in good hands. Y'all keep doing what y'all do.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm glad y'all can live out the closet.
Right.
I know.
Let our free flag fly.
Yeah, man.
You know?
I was like an R. Kelly song. Come out that closet. Sinbad, get in the closet. Sinbad's in the closet. I'm like, yo, man, I ain't ready to come out the closet yet.
Yeah, you quiet. But now you can be loud because we got Black Twitter behind us.
Yes.
I know. I wish you would say something.
Right.